The top causes of death worldwide are heart attacks and strokes, which is well knowledge. Cardiovascular problems should be the first thing we address if we are going to practice any form of preventive, yet occasionally we do our hearts harm without even realizing it. Some of our lifestyle behaviors are quite bad for our hearts, and we need to be aware that around the age of 50, everyone's heart health becomes a major concern. Watch the video all the way through to learn about the habits that are particularly dangerous for your heart. The knowledge will be both fascinating and beneficial, so let's get started. And by the way, if you want to make sure you don't miss any of our new videos, subscribe to our channel and click the bell. Number 1. The biggest problem is not getting enough sleep. For our entire cardiovascular system to function normally, sleep is crucial. Sleep and the heart appear to be different entities at first glance since it comes from a different field. However, the connection is actually very clear-cut. A healthy sleep schedule lowers the risk of developing diabetes, which cardiologists now recognize as a vascular illness because it affects the blood vessels. First of all, getting enough sleep has a favorable impact on the health of our hearts. For instance, in Norway, researchers did a large study with up to 5,000 participants and discovered that individuals who don't get enough sleep have heart disease twice as frequently. Second, stress. Heart health is significantly negatively impacted by stress. Adrenaline is produced more readily in response to stress, and adrenaline raises blood pressure, which already contributes to a wide range of issues. Almost all of the tissues and organs in our body are negatively impacted by it, but of course the heart is no exception. A trip to the doctor, for instance, is a first-rate illustration of this impact. A person frequently takes his blood pressure at home. A typical reading is 120/80ths, but the moment he enters the doctor's office, his blood pressure jumps 20 points, reaching 140/90ths, which is already hypertension. Once the patient returned home, his blood pressure would return to normal in a calm setting. This applies to everyday life as well. Worrying constantly can cause a noticeable increase in blood pressure, which harms the heart. The third is a sedentary lifestyle. Although it's obviously quite clear, everyone talks about it, and most people presumably understand it, it would be impossible to leave it out of this video. Cardiovascular disease risk is directly impacted by sedentary lifestyles. This is due to the fact that when we move, such as when we walk, run, swim, or warm up, our blood creates an important compound called nitric oxide. This substance gives us new life and energy. It is not possible to use nitric oxide as a supplement because it specifically aids in the treatment of high blood pressure. Since nitric oxide breaks down so quickly in real life, there are currently no pills that contain it that can be effective. Instead, movement is the only way to obtain nitric oxide, which also acts when we don't move enough. We have circulation stasis, which generally raises the risk of heart failure. 4. Unhealthy habits. Both smoking and drinking are detrimental to the heart. Probably everyone can see it. Simply put, you would have mentioned it in the comments if I hadn't said it. How could you have overlooked that? So, for instance, alcohol kills cardiac cells, and if we drink a lot of it, it has a really bad effect on our hearts that can last up to 7 hours. Smokers frequently experience an elevated heart rate as well as nicotine's effects. It is now commonly acknowledged that smokers live 14 years less on average. Smoking is harmful to the cardiovascular system because nicotine causes the heart to pump harder and blood pressure to rise. Smokers typically have a rapid heartbeat. Number 5. Not taking care of our teeth properly. This is where it starts to appear strange and surprising. Why? Bizarre as it may seem, is there a relationship between teeth, the mouth, and the cardiovascular system? Therefore, it has been observed that individuals with bad teeth, especially gums, have a significantly increased risk of cardiovascular accidents such as heart attacks and strokes. How is this related then? Additionally, it relates to the following. Inflammation around the teeth, particularly in the gums, considerably raises the risk of thrombosis. Additionally, gum inflammation raises the risk that a blood clot that has developed will enter the bloodstream and cause serious problems. This effect, which has been shown to be important, was just recently identified by scientists. Naturally, as a result, you must take care of your teeth by brushing and flossing them twice a day, and the gum irritation has to receive special treatment. Number 6. Insufficient self-care. When a person ignores their symptoms and how they are making them feel, when a person fails to perform a self-examination, disregards a doctor's advice, and generally has no idea what is happening with his cardiovascular system. You must realize that knowing your blood pressure is the first step. Check your blood pressure if you haven't recently. The ideal range is 120 to 80. When the blood pressure reached 140, it was deemed to be hypertension. Today, however, the consensus is that hypertension is already in its early stages at an upper systolic pressure of 131. You should be aware of your resting heart rate in addition to your blood pressure because it is scientifically shown that a person's risk of heart attacks and strokes is at least 2 times higher if their resting heart rate is greater than 75 beats per minute. Knowing your cholesterol level is also important, so if you've never had it checked, you'll need to. It is worthwhile to monitor your cholesterol levels, therefore you should. Number 7. Feelings. It's important to pay attention to how you feel because some symptoms should not be disregarded. You should therefore pay attention to the following: pain behind the chest, for instance, breathing difficulties, vertigo, palpitations, weariness, swelling of the legs, arms, feet, or ankles, and numbness or coldness in the hands and feet are other symptoms. We can only ensure the health of our hearts by combining knowledge and awareness. Please remark in the comments section below. Do you practice something similar? Maybe you have some sound advice for keeping our hearts healthy. Share the video with your friends and family. I think it would be fascinating for you to view my other film, in which I discuss nutrients that help our blood vessels stay clean when we become 50. And including these foods in our diets is a smart idea. Your screen just flashed the video link, and I've also included it in the description and received it in the first comment. Check it out without a doubt. It's highly relevant knowledge that's also fascinating. Please click the like button and subscribe to our channel if you like this video. We'll see you at the movie about foods that are good for blood vessels in 50 years.